In the complex social structure of our society, every individual has their own experiences and perspectives. Today, I want to share with everyone a thought-provoking topic: the difference in perception between various social classes. This isn't just about how we view the world, but also how we understand and communicate with one another. No matter which social class you belong to, this topic can touch your emotions because it relates to how each of us finds resonance and understanding in a diverse, intricate society. I know your life is very busy, yet what I'm about to say isn't easy to grasp, especially difficult to fully comprehend if you only listen once. My advice is listen until the end, replay it multiple times when you're free or while doing household chores. Share it, save it to a playlist for your convenience. I'm certain within just a few short months, your thinking will evolve dramatically, reaching a whole new level. The art of ancient wisdom warmly greets you, dear audience and friends. In every social class, people often have limited understanding of the classes above them, while those in higher classes find it easier to comprehend the lives of those below. This difference isn't only reflected in perception, but also in how rules are applied. The upper class tends to exploit rules to their advantage, rather than merely following them. They excel at creating and seizing resources, especially scarce ones. A person's way of thinking directly impacts their quality of life. For instance, a child wonders and asks their father, "Why do others work hard and honestly, yet earn so little, while it seems you work more leisurely and make more? Is this fair?" This isn't just a matter of income inequality, but a clear manifestation of the perceptual gap between social classes. People in the lower class on the surface are limited by their resources, but deep down, they're constrained by their own mindset. The core issue is that they believe in misconceptions. With the right mindset of the upper class, even without resources, one can continuously identify and pursue opportunities, thus transcending the boundaries of their class. Many don't fail to see or access the mindset of the higher class, but deep within, they refuse to accept it. Instead, they cling to their flawed thinking. So, what's the greatest barrier in the journey from poverty to wealth? Those born into absolute poverty cannot achieve true success in this society, because from childhood, they've been exposed to a culture devoid of fighting spirit, a culture that only teaches them to be obedient citizens. Obedient people don't care who's in charge, as long as they have food to eat. What's called false knowledge is the kind learned in school, while true knowledge is what's gained from society. False knowledge is useful only for exams, but true knowledge is never tested, nor found in books, yet every step in society demands it. Education, at its core, is a form of domestication. I've once said, education has 3 levels. The first level is knowing what can and cannot be done. This is called common education. The second level is knowing what makes money and what doesn't. This is called elite education. The third level is knowing what can be seized and what cannot. This is called aristocratic education. Culture always comes in 2 forms, elite culture and brainwashing culture. What's known as elite culture never emerges among the masses, and the upper class, along with us, the common folk, never read the same books. Elite culture always aims for the refined, while brainwashing culture remains forever among the masses. When you grasp elite culture, you become elite. When you only know folk culture, you remain a commoner. But folk culture is always a fragment of knowledge crafted by the elite and passed down. In the shadows we cannot see, there's always a group smarter than us controlling us. Their tool of control isn't weapons, but culture, systems of customs, habits. Some see through their game, break free, and become society's elite. Others sink too deep and end up living lives like puppets. A small group of elites will encourage figures like Chief Fio to keep striving, influencing more people. Likewise, the world has 3 types of learning. The first is held by emperors and generals. The second is grasped by society's elite. The third is possessed by the masses. The first teaches you how to be a shepherd, the second teaches you how to be a sheepdog, the third teaches you how to be a sheep. Corresponding to this, knowledge is also divided into 3 levels. The first level is heavenly secrets, truths that cannot be revealed, cannot be spread among the masses, like the secrets of kings. The second level is true transmission, passed down among a select few, requiring deep study to absorb. The third level is women's tears, easily obtained, like the content of short social media videos that excite people. The world also has three types of logic. The first is hidden, reserved for a few with grand ambitions to help them manage the world better. The second is neutral, for skilled individuals, helping them become valuable. The third is obvious, for the masses, teaching them to be obedient citizens. The truth always lies in the hands of a few. This translates to mean most people are foolish and unable to grasp the truth, so their entire lives they're exploited by others. 99% of people in the world only think about reaping benefits without working, craving quick, short-term thrills. Because they refuse to think, staying on the shallow surface, the essence of business is profiting from human weaknesses. Of course, there's a crucial prerequisite here. You must overcome your own weaknesses, become part of the 1% who stand apart. Only then can you freely manipulate human nature, glide through life without entanglement. Some have understood this deeply and effortlessly subdued 99% of ordinary people without the slightest obsession. Thus, making money is also a form of self-cultivation, a process of shedding your own weaknesses, helping you mature and perfect yourself further. If not, you too will fall into its vortex. In the realm of business, morality is truly simple. It's understanding and meeting human needs. On the surface, many seem imperfect, perhaps needing more emotional care or lacking in reason. As an entrepreneur, if you can recognize these needs and provide fitting solutions, you not only help people, but also maintain harmony in society. This isn't just business acumen, it also reflects responsibility towards society. Remember, meeting human needs is a noble moral act. There are two hardest things in the world. First is planting your thoughts into someone else's mind. Second is putting someone else's money into your pocket. The first touches the soul, the second touches interests. Hence, there's a saying, touching interests is harder than touching the soul. What's fascinating is these two often happen together. If you can plant your thoughts into someone's mind, touch their soul, they'll willingly put money into your pocket. Thus, the highest skill in the world is the ability to install a new system of thought into the minds of 99% of people. As for the vast majority of humanity, if they keep indulging in the bait of businessmen, like short videos, entertainment shows, video games, they'll grow poorer and continue to be exploited. Only a few suddenly awaken, realizing they can't keep sinking like this, and start learning elite thinking, gradually escaping their circumstances. By the way, allow me to announce our new channel, The Art of Wealth, dedicated to the topic of wealth-building mindset, career development, creating prosperity and riches related to money and assets. Channel details will be in the comments below. Hoping for your support, dear audience. A brutally harsh truth is, keeping the majority in a state of poverty is a necessary condition of every private ownership society, from slavery, feudalism, to capitalism since modern times. The real factor hindering the progress and advancement of the poor is society itself, specifically the exploitation and oppression of humans by one another. A senior priest of the new church, Master Duong, once bluntly said, praising poverty as a prerequisite for wealth. He argued using laws to force labor causes too much trouble, violence, and resistance, while hunger isn't just a peaceful, silent, relentless pressure, but also the most natural motivator to spur diligence and work, thus yielding the highest efficiency. In the work, Economic and Philosophical Manuscripts of 1844, Karl Marx deeply discussed the relationship between labor and capital. He pointed out, labor creates wealth and miracles for capitalists, but plunges workers into poverty. Workers build luxurious buildings, yet live in squalor themselves. They create beauty, but their own lives are distorted. Mechanized labor replaces manual work, not only forcing some workers back to grueling tasks, but turning others into mere machines. Labor produces intellect, yet makes workers dull and foolish. Through this lens, Karl Marx critiqued the alienation of labor under capitalism. How do you make people accept labor? Tell them their hardships stem from their lack of diligence. Why, in a world with such advanced productive capacity today, are there still so many poor? It's because the world was designed this way. Imagine one night all the poor became rich. The next day, the rich would have to wash their own clothes, cook their own meals, and till their own fields. The rich would never let this happen. Creating wealth cannot do without human labor. Without it, fertile fields would turn barren, and factory production lines would become heaps of scrap. So, what do the rich rely on to drive the poor to work? If they used laws to force some to labor while others lounged, it'd surely spark conflict. But if they used another way, keeping some forever poor, telling them they're poor because they don't try, don't work hard, they won't resent it, they'll toil with hope of escaping poverty. Through diligence, let's ponder a question. How do the rich make their money more valuable? Suppose the rich want to buy someone's freedom. How do they lower the cost? If that person comes from a wealthy family, the rich would have to pay a fortune. But if they were born poor, a small sum would suffice. That's why big factories are built in Bandung, Dong Nai, not Ho Chi Minh City. In the city, the poor are fewer, so labor costs are higher. Look around us, those who work the hardest, dare not defy their bosses, dare not switch jobs. Aren't they the ones with families, children, and massive debts? Thus, the poorer the poor get, the cheaper it is to hire them, and the stronger the purchasing power of the rich's money becomes. A cruel truth is 99% of those born into this world are here just to be the majority, to be the backdrop for society's operation, mere auxiliary materials for its development. To make this clearer, let's look at a metaphorical story, one requiring intelligence to grasp. The master tells the donkey diligently pulling the millstone, "You're truly amazing. Without you, we'd have to eat coarse food." The donkey naively grins and steps faster. By night, the master's family enjoys a delicious meal, feels refreshed, and teaches their kids, "Never be like that stupid donkey, stuck circling the millstone its whole life." After a hard day's work, the donkey sits eating corn stalks and tells its foal, "Grow up quick. I'll teach you to pull the millstone. It's the most respected trade." The harshest truth of this world is 99% of the poor, hardworking yet unaware, sustain the 1% of the rich who revel in luxury. These 99% are born merely to be the backdrop, the material for society's functioning, to help the 1% live better and attain freedom. Naturally, to maintain their position, this 1% ceaselessly crafts rules to restrict and control the 99%. The truth is, the rich's wealth comes from the poor's labor. The harder the poor work, the richer the rich become. That's the reality behind the saying, "Diligence leads to wealth." The rich want to keep the poor forever in poverty so they can sit back and enjoy. To achieve this, they glorify diligence as a virtue, proclaiming, "Hard work will change your fate." To make a donkey pull the millstone, you blindfold it, keep it toiling without knowing its surroundings. If the donkey wakes up, it won't keep pulling. Sometimes a few poor souls suddenly awaken, start thinking, and study the psychology of the rich, how they design systems like a game character researching the game's code. When they realize a lifetime of leveling up and fighting monsters is meaningless, they begin to ask, who designed all this? And how do we change the current rules? If the poor truly learned to think, the rich would panic, for their status could be threatened anytime. For this reason, the rich have created countless spiritual sedatives and comforting slogans, like live streams, short videos, games, and entertainment shows. These spiritual lollipops keep the poor entranced. This method is incredibly effective. Most of the poor fall in and can't break free. The most intriguing thing about this era is, the poor are enjoying life because joy comes too easily, while the rich ponder existence, devising better systems to enslave them. Touching the rich's interests is like threatening their lives. Changing the poor's perception is like digging up their ancestors' graves. The poor's ignorance is the rich's profit. Whoever exposes this truth to the public will be attacked by both the rich and the poor, for they've harmed the rich's interests and shattered the poor's illusions. Conversely, those who craft comforting drugs and hallucinatory pills will be warmly embraced. Why are 99% of the world's people exploited? Because 99% are lost sheep. They live in illusions, forever blind to the world's truth. Truth is often complex and brutal, and without enough courage and wisdom, people would rather flee it than face it. So, they drown in illusions, fleeting pleasures, and revel tirelessly. This is the ignorant masses. Only 1% of the world's people can see the truth, because they have the courage to face reality, the bravery to confront human cruelty, and the compassion to accept the world's injustice. The truth always rests in these few hands, and they are the ones who control the world. Thus, this 1% can easily manipulate the remaining 99%. A classic example: many can simplify complex issues, but why don't they? The sole reason is doing so wouldn't make money. Turning complexity into simplicity is wisdom, but turning simplicity into complexity is commerce. After seeing the truth and simplifying it, to commercialize it, they must complicate it again, create illusions, because 99% only pay for complex things, even if it leaves them more confused. Yet, their fate is growing bewilderment. This is a hallmark of the easily exploited. 99% are drawn to elaborate descriptions and tricks. The flashier, the more they're enthralled. In reality, 99% never truly pursue truth. They chase extreme emotions, one-sided views, complex facades, and endless addiction. Any truth that discomforts them, they ignore. Conversely, lies and ploys crafting beautiful illusions excite them. That's human nature since time immemorial. Sincerity doesn't win hearts, only cunning does. Whoever masters influencing the masses' imagination, masters ruling them. The essence of business lies in 8 words. See through the truth, create illusions. First, see the truth, simplify the issue, then craft illusions, turn simplicity into complexity, captivate the masses within it. When they gleefully enjoy the game, you've succeeded. The masses never truly want truth. They crave understanding, recognition. Never impose what you deem truth on others. Just grasp their limited vision. After seeing the truth, create illusions for them to sink into, offer short-term gains to distract them, and you'll achieve great success. This is a vital skill for any entrepreneur. Reflect on 2 corresponding questions. Do customers really want value? Do the masses really crave truth? In truth, people don't seek value, nor truth. What they yearn for is understanding, emotional solace. Never force what you consider truth on them, nor make them accept the value or good products you think are right. Just understand them, comfort them, and you'll succeed. That's the essence of business. Thus, online, what spreads easiest is never real value, but always emotions and biases. 99% believe they hold truths and knowledge, but in reality, they mistake emotions for reason, information for wisdom, and bias for thought. That's why many entrepreneurs love repetitive, overwhelming ad tactics. This method, though crude, treating consumers like fools, keeps them buying, hooked like moths to a flame. Those who bring truth and value to people are often criticized, while those offering illusions and petty gains can become masters of the crowd. So, 99% of the world's people don't pursue truth or value, but emotional comfort, small benefits, and beautiful lies. Remember these 4 sayings. Number 1, what people most want to express isn't real content, but a desire to be understood. Number 2, what people most want to gain isn't true value, but emotional solace. Number 3, what people most want to see isn't truth or reality, but hope. Number 4, people are most swayed not by reason but by benefits. These 4 sayings are the secret to business, and also the essence and truth of society. For the 1%, their greatest challenge is how to cloak harsh truth in sweetness so the 99%, those overgrown children, can swallow that sugary pill and grow from it.